Oh, we're live, Don. Woo!
Hey, it's great to be live. We were just live the other day. So, I believe we got probably the best show ever that's in front of us. And I hope everybody
Whoa.
sticks around long enough to get the full benefit because it's a strategy we actually developed at our mastermind group meeting yesterday and wanted to kind of share it with everybody because it really takes you off the beaten track, distinguishes you, differentiates you. And not only is it a different track, it's a higher appreciation track from the people you're trying to target. So, with that said, maybe Mikey could share a little bit of the context to this strategy and why it can be so effective.
All right, I will do that. LinkTank, we're live Tuesdays and Fridays at 2 p.m. with one major promise to provide you one actionable idea that you can actually do while we're on. We had someone say to me the other day that you guys were so on fire that you gave me a tip, and while I was listening to you, I did it and put it into play. So you can do it while we're talking to you or soon after, but nothing happens without you taking action. We're going to give you the proven goods. You take the action. So that's my little commercial break for LinkTank. I'm feeling fired up today. Yeah, we had a great mastermind meeting yesterday with a dozen of our done with you, done for your clients, and the power. Like, here's what I want everyone to understand and to get. It's the framework of. And then we're going to go into the actual strategy, and Don and I are going to share our screens separately, and you'll be able to watch us in action. My palms are getting sweaty. The pressure's too hot to handle. Anyway, one of the clients um, was on there, and we're starting the meeting, and he goes, "Mike, I got to ask a question, and I feel a little selfish. It's only a question I need help with, but can I get it out of the way right away?" And you know, I get that. Like, people feel like they're inconveniencing other people if they ask a question. They'll think, "Oh, I'm going to ask a question, and the answer is going to be for me," which I get that as well. But here is the thing that came out of that whole conversation, because his one question, which I told him that, or I'm going to tell you right now, there is no such thing as one question just for you. You're asking a question that is specifically to a need that you have. But what that does amongst a group is spark other thoughts from the
Mm-hmm.
rest of the people in the group. Now, nobody might have the exact same situation, but how do we get a thought? Like right now, I say, okay, think of the color red, Don. What comes up?
Your glasses?
No, right. But prior to me saying think of the color red, you weren't thinking that my glasses were red.
No, and I think that's part of setting the direction and packaging and presentation that goes into the best delivery and reception you can get. So what comes to mind. I have to say this is you always tell that story about in the older days. You'd get to somebody's parking lot before they get to work at 6 in the morning, and you'd meet them right as they got outside the door, so there's no avoiding you on the phone or playing phone tag, right? And that's just one evidence of what people would do in time, effort, how many times you would call to get something done. And what we're talking about today is investing a little bit of time to get even a better reception and reaction because you're not asking, you're starting with giving. Isn't that
Yes.
great when you can give
Yes.
because
So Dan,
when, go
we're
ahead.
gonna come back to the details in a second, but I just want to finish the thought about the question that was asked by one of our participants in the mastermind, thinking that it was only going to help him. And the point I was asking you about think of the color red was that there is no question, just your question, because your question sparks other people to think about other things that they need.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what the exercise was. Think of the color red, because and you weren't thinking about my colors, my glasses before, but because I said red, it led you on another track. So when you're in a group scenario like this, where you and I are feeding off each other, or someone sends us, we always say, hey, send us in a question. Maybe you're like, I don't want to send my question in because it's only my question. What I'm trying to share is that there's no such thing as your question, because your question, even though we might answer it specifically, is sparking so many other thoughts from all the other people. And so that was the key that took us from, hey, I got one question, I want to be selfish, ask my question first, to what was one of our most powerful mastermind sessions ever. Now, let's jump forward to what Don was saying, and we'll connect the dots, and then we'll go into the actual lesson that Don knows from my conversations, that when I started out in 1987 as a stockbroker, I busted my ass to try to get people on the phone. When I got them on the phone, then I qualified them, and then I chased them forever until I get them clients. And he's giving an example. I drove an hour and a half at 5 o'clock in the morning to get like 6:30 at the guy's warehouse, because I knew he was the first one to walk into the office. I actually didn't know what he looked like. And I sat on the stoop and waited. So I drove an hour and a half, and I waited for a half hour just so when he walked down the parking lot, I'm sitting there on the steps and I could say to him, hey, it's Mike, and I told you I was going to, be out here, and I am. That's a lot of work, right? That's what Don's saying. So what we're about to show you is something different, because one, you still got to put some work in. We're going to show you how quick the work can be, but it's almost painless. It's actually kind of fun because you get to kind of think and teach. And two, the difference is that we're going to show you how to give to somebody. When I was a stockbroker, I was just trying to get. I was kind of trying to give them a good stock, but I was trying to get the relationship. So that was really what you're talking about, right, Don?
Yeah, because what's worked for you in the past is basically how you've been able to identify the, let's say, client's psychology, right? And what it takes to make them more open and receptive. And in LinkedIn, what they do is they allow you to do everything that you used to do old school, but no travel, right? No distance. So instead of driving an hour and a half, what you can do, and I think the gift that Mike gave when he drove there is he showed up. Who shows up at 6:30 at someone's parking space? And to me, that would be like, hey, this guy's willing to go to extra mile. I mean, it was the activity that would sway somebody to say, well, I must be important enough for you to want me and work hard to get me, right? So you're setting the stage without words. And the whole key is to avoid rejection for two reasons. First of all, rejection by itself is rejection. Second of all, so many people fear rejection that they're afraid to take action. And if there is no rejection, if I said, here's a stack of 20s, give them out until they're gone, you'd never have to worry about if someone said no. There'd be plenty waiting for them, right? So what I noticed is everybody on LinkedIn goes in with a strategy, a philosophy, but you know what it is? It's like everybody else. And that's when anybody does something. And when you're like everybody else, you're part of the mob. Now take it the other way. If you've been receiving all this ask and take from you, and all of a sudden someone shows up and starts giving, right? Starts commenting, starts sharing. And here's the beauty of it. Not only are you promoting someone and supporting someone, being recognized by somebody, but the people you're doing with were handpicked by you. Thought leaders, people that if you could bring them into your fold could make the whole year and maybe your career. And the point is you'll be learning from them, right? If you follow Gary Vee, and anybody, I guarantee you can talk to Gary Vee if you deserve to, right? If you do enough and show enough and offer enough, he's always a buyer, right? He's always hiring. So the point is not will he do something with you? The question is, are you worthy of being part of a conversation? Because at the end of the day, all we can do is get the call, right? When you get a call and you come up empty, then it's over. What was the point for either one of you? You know what I mean?
Got
So
it.
what we're trying to show is if you do something in addition to what you're doing, right? Don't flip flop. If you're committed to posting every day and doing videos, keep doing it. And actually, if you do that and that, you'll even get more leverage off of it because you'll be seen in different ways for different reasons, right? Some is outbound with your post, some is outbound with your specific commenting. And the strategy in itself is very simple. Pick whatever amount of people you choose to pick. It could be 3, 5, 20 a day, but whatever is comfortable and you know you can do it, right? Because this is a long game and it's consistent and you need to get better in time. To get better in time, you got to keep doing it in time. So the point is, pick out those people who you would love to have picked you out, right? If you got to your message of the day and say, "Hey, Gary B just called once a," oh, not even that. Gary B commented on your stuff, right? He just
Yeah.
shared your
Yeah.
post. That's what
So
we're talking
let's,
about.
yeah. So what we're going to do today is we're going to show and tell. So I'm going to go first. And so I might as well go and let me share my screen. And we're going to break it down. Share my screen. Going to move that over here. And we might as well go right for the king because you said, Gary B. So this is what I'm doing right now. So if I'm saying, okay, I get to pick a list and I get to pick a list of, say, 20 people. And these are, great people that single-handedly any one of them, if I was able to do something with them, could change the trajectory of my company. So what am I going to do? I'm going to cold call Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm not getting through, or anyone else after that's like that. Um, no, I mean you can do it, but it's such a small percentage game. What I can do is basically say, okay, and what Don and I were talking about is if Gary Vaynerchuk is here, and let me just close all this stuff down here, and you go to his posts, um, show activity, and he's actually is famous for teaching the strategy. It's called this like 2 cents strategy. You put your 2 cents in 10 times a day, and it's 20 cents. You can end up with relationships that are just outstanding. So here's what I came in an hour ago. And it's actually pretty cool because it only has 28 comments and it's got 14 shares. So what can I do to potentially get in Gary in in his way, in a good way? He's going to be like, oh, Mike's got some good shit going on. If I got enough good shit going on over and over and over again, he's going to have someone on his team say, hey, this guy Mike's got some good shit going on. Find out what he's doing. So how do I get my shit my good shit going on in his way? So I can cold call him on his mobile phone, but I don't have his mobile phone. Or I can look at this post and say, being kind will still lead to long financial accomplishments, but it will happen in a far better way. And so leave your 2 cents. Even says leave your 2 cents comment. Right? That's beautiful, right?
I genuinely believe that nice guys finish first. I genuinely do. I think you have to decide what finish is. Right. Plenty of people that are not kind make money, but do they love it when they're 72? And even if they look like they love it because they took a photo with a yacht, when you dig deep and you live worldly, know a lot of people, there's an incredible loneliness that comes if you're not nice. There's a you on the way down. There's a lot of executives that are getting canceled, and the ones that weren't able to build real relationships have very lonely when you were coming off your pedestal.
Yeah. So this is
there for you, but you made that bed. First for me is joy, satisfaction, community, admiration. What people say behind your
okay. So you got to get a flavor if you're going to add something that's smart. So I got a flavor, and then I'm going to go into the comments. And look, I get to be one of 28. Is he going to read it himself? He used to read all of them himself. But I'm going to do it at Gary. So alerted. I love this video. did you know that the Kabbalists have been speaking about this very principle for 3,000 years? That's a long time. The idea is affinity with the light slash creator slash God, whatever you want to call the big guy upstairs. Guy slash gal upstairs. I'll probably run into some problems because guy, gal, I'm leaving out some of these pronoun things. But anyway, so the affinity with the light of the creator. The creator is kind, act kind, and create kind circuitry. Circuit. Okay. Um, one of Thomas secrets to creating the light bulb. Nah, just kidding. Love what you're doing and your message. Nice. People first. It could be better, love
but
what you.
here's the thing, Mike, that while you're typing, what you have to appreciate is if you're going to do it consistently, right? This is the first of many. So
Yes.
it's not like a sales pitch where they buy it or they don't, or they call you or they don't. The other thing is what this really puts it into context is you're having a one-way conversation with a person you want to talk to, right? So
I'm talking directly to Gary.
yeah, you're doing your half, and if you do it enough, his half will show up. That's really the key. So if you said to yourself, "There's 10 people I just got to talk to," we had that meeting yesterday, and after the meeting, I thought I can talk to anybody if I qualify for anybody, right? If I make their standards, if I over excel, and people say, "Wow, this guy is different. This guy's got it covered," right? Because you know what I found about guys like Gary Vee, success is an attitude, right? And your attitude is projected through your communication. Now, how do you communicate? And here's another thing I just learned, because I'm learning like every minute now, is when you send a post out, what you're saying is this post is available to 810 million people if it ever got that far, right? But if you're a specialist, if you're a professional at the highest level, you don't need to talk to 810 million people. You need to talk to the 15 or 20 people you want to be with, right? And whether that's, and you know, where it starts is where it starts. And the point is, again, you can do everything else you're doing if you love it, if you believe in it. You know, this is an either and strategy, but, you know, why not? And, you know, the beauty of it too, which is another insight, is the message that Mike sent and is relative to Gary Vee and his philosophy, right? You wouldn't want to be supporting somebody that had totally different views, even though they had a lot of influence. So if you find people that think like you, are aligned like you, You'll know when you get to know them, those things are out of the way. Second thing, it shows you're willing to continue to pay for their support. And instead of financial payment, you're willing to be a fan, right? You'll pump them up, and also then have a strategy, because it never hurts to write things down, to say, first week, my 5 posts to this guy or gal will be this process. Second week, I'll add a little something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Don, look,
Yeah.
you're right on the money. So look at this. I just basically, I'm gonna get a 2-for-1, right? So my comments, and I push this. I look down his comments and I see, okay, this guy here, Neil Shapiro, and I'm gonna hit Neil. And I said, Neil, I shared a Kabbalah secret in my comment just above yours. I appreciate your thoughts. Boom, I got 2-for-1.
Yeah.
So then,
but here's the other thing. The guys who are doing what you're doing with Gary are the guys you want to be with. Right?
no,
So
I
either
can just see. I can see the guy. The guy is Google Analytics expert. This is a major guy, Neil. I can just see, and they are attached to him, which is great. Then the last thing I want to do is I want to share this, right? So where do I find that share button? Save, copy, embed.
It's at the bottom. It's at the bottom.
Oh, at the bottom. So let me collapse the comments, and then I'm going to scroll down. Well, obviously I got to like it. So maybe I'll like it with a light bulb. I don't know how to get up there. How do I do that? Get over there. Get up there. No, I can't get the. Anyway, I don't know how to get up there. So I'm gonna go down here, and then I'm going to where do I get this?
Because I know you have 3 things: like, comment, share, but your share's not showing up.
LinkedIn's weird. Let me just refresh. Post. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to share it, right? So they just did this thing that's new also. This is new. Share outside, Twitter, Facebook, copy the link, repost, share with your thoughts. So I'm going to share it with my thoughts, and I'm just going to copy and paste again this, because I'm sharing the post, but I might as well show my thoughts on this thing. And where I'm sharing it, I'm going to share it on, I'll share mine, right? And then if you really want to get post in a group, you belong to a group that maybe just you post. Need a speaker, be a speaker, 30,000. Yeah, maybe I'll just post it in a group too, Don.
Yeah, I mean, the key is how much do you want to overserve and lather up?
There,
right?
I posted it. Right, I posted it.
Well,
Posted in the group.
There's only so many people that will comment on Gary's stuff, but there'll be no one who likes, comments, shares, puts it out to a group, and does it every day, right? Because
and the best thing is that there's nobody else like me. So I gave my 2 cents, and my 2 cents, I've been studying Kabbalah for 22 years. So that's me. Anybody can add theirs. Maybe he's never going to speak to me again because he hates Kabbalah. Or maybe he's like intrigued with Kabbalah, and he always wanted to know more about Kabbalah. Who knows? The point, it doesn't matter. And we're all individuals. We're all a special piece in this gigantic puzzle of life, and we're all important.
Yeah, and I think that the core principle here is top of mind awareness, right? If you get in front of people enough, even if they don't read you, but they see you and you're there, eventually the curiosity will get to them. Because here's the thing about LinkedIn: as easy as it is to find him, that's as easy as him to find you. To go to your profile takes a click. And I would say, who's this guy? I say it myself every day. Whoever does a good job for me, and that's new, a strange name, I check them out, and I thank them, right? Because it's a rarity, and especially if there's somebody I want to get to know. You know what I mean? There's common courtesy just for people saying something and you feel responsible, but there's a marketing opportunity and an exposure. And the other thing is if you're doing stuff at the time, right? So not only you, but they can look at what you're doing and how you're doing it. Now
well, if he looks right now, Don, if he looks right now and he goes on my LinkedIn page, you and I are live in the banner. He's like, this guy just wait a second. This guy just commented while he's live. He's giving me
exactly. But here's the thing: to everybody in the audience, we get 3 to 4 times the views on this video after it posts. Now it could be 1,000 people. There's going to be some Gary V people out of those 1,000. What happens when those people say, "Hey, Gary, it's great they promoted you. Put so much time into your LinkedIn Live." And actually,
look at this. Like, we got a good comment. Edison was a monster. Tulsa was the real father of electricity and seen as one of the nicest people of all time. Albert Einstein has called him my genius. Tulsa is seen as a legend. His approach was constantly give. He discovered how to create. See, look at that. I completely got it. But now we have engagement.
Well, and that's what you were saying earlier. It's getting the ball in play and then playing with people. You know what I mean? It's like going out and playing catch, right? But someone's got to throw the ball the first time. And if you keep throwing the ball and say, let's play catch, even a lazy person will get up and start playing. And that's the key. You got to show yourself as being a player and doing stuff that's not typical and thinking in a different way. And, Gary's got a huge organization, and there's still a lot of Garys, right? Because, after you go through the top 20, there's somebody below that, right?
Well,
when
look,
you compare,
Don, look at, I mean, it's really, it's just unfair. I mean, now I'm sitting here and I'm like, you know what? Oh, David Solomon. Let me go over to David. Right? David Solomon, this guy, CEO of Goldman Sachs. He's loved and hated. He plays in a band. He's a DJ. He's a DJ. He follows his passion, right? This guy. So, what? Look at this. How can I ever think about getting in touch with David Solomon? I can't. But if we do the same thing, he's got almost 1 million followers, and I say, okay, well, what's going on with David? It's the same thing. Go to his post.
Go
and
ahead.
If I did.
So how many comments and views does he have and shares?
He's got 28 comments, 15 shares. The annual Goldman's quarter century club. So
look at this. The guy's the chairman, right? He's got 28 comments. You're 3% of his whole response for this post.
And look what I'm going to do. I'm going to just go into comment, and I'm going to go at David. Did you get a chance to DJ? Now, I just want to make sure I'm right. David Solomon, DJ. I'm pretty sure I'm right. David Solomon, DJ. I am right. This is him. The guy loves to DJ. He's the CEO of Solomon. This is him, right here. He's DJing. Okay, so I knew it. You just take one bit information. So
what I would say to him, I like that DJ stuff. Is I just want to share that I started out in the investment community, right? And over time, decided to get in front of LinkedIn, something like that. So in other words, I know your world in a way, right?
Yeah.
And again, that can come with time. But the point is someone's going to have to understand, why do I want to continue to talk to you? Because see, you'll get a response. Your response after that will be based on what transpired, right? If you got something of value or interest. Another thing with these big guys, they're looking for entertainment. They're looking for fun.
Yeah.
They're
beautiful.
not.
Look what I just added because of you. So I'll scroll it up so everyone can see. I said, David Solomon, did you get a chance to DJ? I should probably just say, at the.
You know what would be super cool? Listen to this. Tell
Yeah.
them I was so impressed with your post. We used you as an example on our LinkTank LinkedIn Live today. Here's a link, right, to see it.
Yeah.
So eventually, what you're doing is you're doing a lot. You're recognizing him for a hobby. He probably loves DJing more than investment banking or whatever he does, right? You're looking forward to one of his sets. So in a way, you're a fan in a small area of his life. And then it tells you that, hey, we're aligned, right? Because, I know your world. And now I'm doing this stuff. And really, it's a great introductory first one. Tomorrow's post, and actually tomorrow's post is right below this post, right? So if you go and say, hey, I want to do 2 on the same guy the same day, or whatever. So
I'll just post that right now. And so, we 2:30, so we're explaining everything in a very long way. But look, so now if I want to have the most important part of this conversation now, which is the consistency, if I do this for 2 weeks, once a day, I don't know if Gary posts obviously once a day. I don't know if David does, but out of 20, now it's 30 comments. If I'm one of 30 or one of 20 and I'm writing stuff that's, basically more personal and cooler about, like this one, it's just like congrats. No, that's fine. I look at of all the posts. Great work. Congrats. Great work.
Yeah, it's all. You know what it is? It's laziness and no fear of looking lazy when you do that. Versus someone who really puts something relevant into the post.
Yeah, and everyone's objective is different, but our objective is to stand out, add value, get noticed, add value, and then maybe he responds, and then I can just be friends, and create a relationship with this guy. Maybe I catch him at a set, and he's like, "Hey, you're the LinkedIn guy." This guy, if this can be part of my network, David Solomon, part of my network, then he might just say, you know what? Why don't you do a LinkedIn training for our 10,000 traders and salespeople? And I'll say to him, you know what, David, that's a great idea. I'll do it for free.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll spend an hour.
I think the key is what you're getting at is this is not to sell, it's to make friendships, right? Yes. It's not to just get them excited and see you and then slip them with a proposition. It's to say, hey, when you're DJing and wherever it is, I'd love to know, right? Or how do I get your schedule? I mean, so he doesn't have to work at it. And the thing is he's going to question, like anybody else, your sincerity. If you do it consistently and you do it authentically, look at what a better fishing hole you're in. Because to Mike's point, when he saw David Solomon, he could probably find 6 more people under David Solomon, right? That says, okay, I'm going to start a little something with these people. And meanwhile, you're telling your story to 20, 30 people a day, and you're sharing your philosophy and your mentality. And someone eventually, and it's not trickery, is going to say, I'm impressed with this guy or intrigued enough. I want to get to know him, right? Where they see you enough to say, hey, he could be a benefit to me versus am I going to have to sacrifice time and whatever to get to know this guy? And that's the key. Once you get in, show yourself for yourself, right? And let that be the judge. You can't keep just being complimentary, right? It has to say, I'm so impressed with what you're doing. I got to share something to help you, right? And here's a strategy I just came up. I want to give it to you. How much would you pay for? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, there's just so much to unpack here. The point is that we just want everyone, I went after 2 whales. These are like, Gary Vaynerchuk, who runs, he's the top when it comes to social media, and one of the top CEOs at one of the top financial companies in the world. So like that's pretty cool. But if you just say, okay, let's back it down, right? My ideal customer is I do corporate leadership, and I want to sell B2B. My ideal customer does $10 to $50 million, and they have 50 to 200 employees. So then I'm basically saying, okay, let's back it down. Let's go into Sales Navigator and make that list. Let's pick the button that is going to pick the ones that have been active in the last 30 days. And let's narrow that down. And maybe I just want to start with, my state. And then you find your 10 or 20 people that they're not going to be like Gary Vee. So they're going to be very receptive to good comments. And you do that 3, 4, 5, 10 times. And then you have a relationship with a peer, a normal person that will lead to what can I do for you? What can you do for me?
Well, and here's to that point, and I was going to bring that up also. There's another category of individuals that be very receptive is the ones you're going after right now, right? So if you've got 10 or 20 people on LinkedIn that you're trying to get closer to, or you've been communicating and it's just back and forth and nothing happening, why not try this strategy on them? They already know you, and all of a sudden you're starting to layer value onto them. I mean, if everybody gave you a cupcake every Friday at work with a little nice note, and over 8 weeks, you like the cupcake, you like the ceremony of getting it, you'll remember that person over everybody else, and that person may be into $30, right? What's a Gary Vee worth? I couldn't put a number on it, right? So if you had to put in an hour a month to do this, if you had to send them a gift once in a while or a funny thing, or hey, I just want to share this with you, and had a calendar. Nothing on LinkedIn works unless you have a plan, right? If it's here, there, and everywhere, you're shotgunning, you're just wasting time, and nothing will ever come to fruition the way it could have if you focused. And if you just stick to one strategy that you know can't miss, because if you're looking to build friendship and goodwill, it's automatic when you do it. Anytime someone shares my stuff, I have goodwill towards them, right? And if they did it every day and they shared, and if they had a great network, what if Gary Vee starts sharing Mike's stuff, right? If one day he said, hey, this guy's been sharing my stuff for 2 weeks, I'm going to put a post together, say, hey, you got to know Mike Weiss. Here's where you find him. He's been doing this. Or maybe here's another funny thing. I got to tell you, a guy who came up with a strategy I never even thought of. He worked it on me, and I think it's brilliant. And you need to see. And here's what he did, right? And laid it out. Well, these guys, Gary Vee, the guy David Solomon, they didn't get to where they are by not seeing possibilities, potential, investing in people. And if someone does something that says, hey, that's pretty cool and unique, but I'll tell you one thing, when you get to the top, you're looking for quality of life, and you're looking for satisfaction, right? You're not looking for a guy who's going to sell you a new computer system and save you a couple bucks. And I think that's what separates those people is they want to know they can trust you. They want to know that you're worthy and you're willing to invest. In the old days, I was thinking when you went to Vegas and you went to a show, you had to slip the maitre d' like $20 to get to the front row or two, right? And if you gave nothing, you ended up a nosebleed. Well, that same principle applies. If you want to get access, you've got to pay the admission fee. And it's not money. It's proving your intent, showing yourself, and just saying, I'm just going to keep giving it to you whether I get nothing or nothing, because here's the thing. I love working with you. That would be another comment. I know you haven't responded to anything. Don't feel obligated, but I love being in your company. I love learning your stuff. I love promoting you, because if I can't get my people to learn more, I'll share what you got to share with them. I mean, it's so cool, right? And yeah. One thing about me and Mike, we express ourselves. We share, and I think that's why we have less limits than some people. And the other thing is we're people who love to learn. This strategy is great for someone who likes to dive in and make things happen, instead of throwing out a fishing net and waiting to see what comes through and then having to go through it, right? So anyways, it's great strategy. Our philosophy is start doing it when you leave here. Be a kinder person. be a more supportive person. And, there's a philosophy, what comes around goes around, right? If you want something, give it and allow people to respond to it. And I think that can't miss. So, Mike, I know we got our membership plan started.
Yes.
I don't want to forget to tell people about that. And, it's a great opportunity. My website, not my website, my profile, Mike's profile has it all in a link that you can go to and see it. And today's
we
post.
have a very, very long information page. All the details, all the questions, all the answers, it's there. Check it out. The link's here. And if you like this, what we're doing, this is, we're sharing a lot. We're not holding back, but it's 20 minutes twice a week. The format and the framework for the LinkTank coaching and mastermind is radically different. It's 1 hour a week, and we're building community. And just, I wish everyone could see the mastermind meeting from yesterday. And in fact, I was on with a few people today that weren't on the meeting. I was like, you got to watch it, because it's the essence of what masterminding is all about. It's the collective genius when everyone's cheering for each other, coming together and sharing these personal experiences into the shared community. And when you do it open in a trusted place, magic comes from it. And we're able to go deep dive today, or for what was, our clients yesterday. He started off and say, I just got to ask, one question. It's just only for me. And at the end, I blasted him and said, thanks for asking your selfish question, jokingly, because look what it's done. That question yesterday, Dom, still lives on today.
Yeah, and everything we're doing today will transform tomorrow, and people listening to this, and if all they do is get confirmation of what they're doing, or a little bit of a component they've been missing to complete the picture, or the interest in just taking action. And you know what? There's many people who are kinder than they are aggressive, right? And if you give them an aggressive strategy, they have a hard time aligning with it. If you say, hey, just be a sweetheart, just go around and see who you want to talk to. It's like a dance, right? Who do you want to dance with? And what are you willing to do to get that person's interest and trust in order to dance with you? And it's universal. Take that to LinkedIn, and LinkedIn, because it offers so many opportunities for doing things for you, opportunities where you can just blast a bunch of stuff or template a bunch of stuff, but there's no humanity to it, right? There's no personality to it. And people are starved for social interaction. They're starved for real time. Right now, anybody watching this, we're having a real experience. Everything else that's posted last week is a video, is a past experience, right? And so where do you want to be, in the future or in the past? Who do you want to be with? The people who see so much opportunity, they can carve out a niche that's unexplored, right? You want to dig in a mine with 10 million other people? Or you want to find your own thing that no one ever knows about and just keeps giving and giving, right? And the problem we have is this is so big, it's going to take an army to demonstrate the value of it, right?
Yeah.
And that's the benefit, not just what you learn and not only what you do, but what you get. And that's one thing we've been focused on, is results. And that's the real key. If you're making a decision on how to do things going forward, base it on your results. Don't base it on, if you're happy with your numbers, if you're happy on how you're getting them, you're way ahead of the curve. And with that said, share it with us. Share it with our program. We'd love to hear it. So anyways, I know we always go long.
This one's really long, but we did screen sharing and stuff, so that anyone can come and go. People come and go, so you can watch the replay over and over. Don, magic today. Thank you so much. The link's there to explore the opportunity. It's an outrageous deal we put together now for all the first movers. And have an amazing weekend. Don, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. And listen, we'll be back Tuesday. This will give you 3 days to get all your success in before the next one. Hopefully, you can share your story with us on Tuesday. I think we're going to have a link tank on collaboration and masterminding. I think that's a key thing that came out of today, and how you can be part of that and maybe develop more of it on your own. So with that, have a wonderful weekend, safe, and see you back on Tuesday. And in the meantime, we're always accessible and available. So if you got something to say or want to share something, we more than welcome it.
All right, over and out. Appreciate everyone. Thank you so much.